AskReddit by Young Tex. What country has a bad reputation, but in reality, it's an amazing place? Colombia. They have come a long way since the Pablo Escobar days. Medellin is a beautiful city, and Colombians in general are very warm and friendly people. I like to say I've never met a Colombian in a bad mood, just don't spell it Colombia. I came here to say the same thing. I absolutely adored my trip there. Cartagena, Medellin, Coffee Triangle area and Santa Marta. But I do know if you have a bad experience in Colombia. It's real bad. Someone in our hotel had their tour bus taken over and the cartel took their wallets and then peed on everyone while they were lying on the ground, so there's that. Romania, bad reputation in Western EU especially, but a beautiful country with generous and down-to-earth people, who generally have an amazing sense of humor. The country itself is absolutely beautiful, especially Transylvania, Ardalan and Danube Delta. The excellent wine is also a bit of a secret. My god, I love Romania. I visited Brasov in 2016 for the first time and fell in love with the mountains in Romania. Friendliest people. Amazing food. The country is so beautiful I cannot even tell you. I was lucky enough to be invited to a wedding and managed to visit again last year. Holy shit, these people can drink. I checked out at 5 AM with double vision, but they just kept on going. Romania is hands down one of my favorite places on earth. Kazakhstan. Definitely not what you see in Borat lol. Drive from Almaty to Issyk-Kula in Kyrgyzstan is incredible. Would love to head back and visit more of those countries. It's kinda pointless of me to say this cause it's gone through hell since I was there and I'm sad that I will probably never go back, but Syria was the first country I visited where I was blown away in a good way. When did you go and what did you find uniquely beautiful about it? From the comments. Throw a dart at a globe and have a nice time. China has some of the most unreal and underrated landscapes in the world, not very well known to the world. It has obviously a ton of history and culture as well. Yeah, Chengdu. Flying in, it looked like being inside one of those scroll paintings. Poland. Krakow is my favorite city in Europe. Poland doesn't have a bad reputation, does it? Insert home country. Same. Mexico. If the cartel didn't control the country I'd move there just because of how beautiful it is. It's sad what the cartel has done to Mexico. It's really beautiful place with nice people and delicious food. Well, this may be out of date, but I came here to say Bosnia and Herzegovina. Had a co-worker from there who grew up, and his family subsequently fled, during the Bosnian War. Apparently since then it's become a great place to visit with lots of architecture many folks wouldn't expect, including Roman architecture stretching back to at least the 4th century. But then when I looked it up to find a particular thing he talked about, apparently tensions are high again in the area. So it may not be amazing right now. Bosnia is definitely on my list of countries I want to visit. Albania. Beautiful country, people are fairly friendly and always welcoming. I was genuinely surprised of how nice it was. I'll be honest, having traveled through the West Balkans, they're all really nice. Agreed. Drove briefly into it, Skoda, as a side trip from Montenegro and found the people to be pleasant and helpful. However, the border agents not so much. They were like, why would you want to come here lol. Mexico. I lived in Mexico for 6 months last year and it was incredible. I miss it all the time. France has a lot more to offer than just Paris, and French people are generally nice, only the Parisians are rude. People in France are super nice. I moved there a year ago and have only met super welcoming and warm people. I speak French, but an American couple lives near me and the woman doesn't speak much French and the people are welcoming and friendly to her too. They make an effort to speak slowly so she understands. Rwanda. The country has come a long way. One of the safest places in Africa now. Never been there myself sadly, but would love to go. Maybe the cleanest nation I have ever witnessed. The United States. The people are great. Just don't read the news. I went on a student exchange program in the United States as a Russian. There were some issues, but those issues were not because of people, rather government sucking the life out of people. I could say the same about Russia, or any other country. I lived in the UK, us, and now settled in Canada. I generally find human to human experience more eye-opening. People are more of the same than they are different. Plus, it's BS that the US doesn't have good food. The number of different cuisines is astonishing. In the end, I want to say I like the New World better. Not because of the comfort or standards of living, it's just less jaded, and people still believe in change. Maybe it's a hot take, but I think most of them, you can find nice food, people and things to do nearly anywhere in the world. The more I've had the chance to travel around, the more this seems to be the case. I found the nightlife in the Vatican sorely lacking. And the women typically not interested in dating. Mexico. It is dangerous, but that wasn't the prompt. So many Westerners look down on Mexico, but the food, culture, people, nature, and buildings are next level. Mexico City is like being in New York City south of the border. Monterrey and several other cities just steal the show. The amount of people calling it a shithole disgusts me. Rwanda. Most beautiful place on earth, with the kindest people and the best food imaginable. El Salvador. Beautiful country, really the nicest, welcomest people, beautiful beaches, great surfing, food, the mountains and volcanoes. The resorts cannot be beaten. It's an amazing country, absolutely a treat to go to, and has a huge center for Bitcoin community and all that, really getting better every year. I would agree, except the people were really homophobic. I wore jean shorts and a floral dress shirt as a guy, and got death stares from people everywhere I went. So much so that I left the country the following day. This was last year. I've been to 66 countries and only experienced that level of homophobia in El Salvador and Georgia. Germans are stereotyped as being stiff and humorless. But when I backpacked through Europe in the 80s, I found the ones I met to be pretty fun, chill and great to party with. East Germany or West? Most Middle East countries. Outside of the government, the citizens are great people. In the Gulf, most of the governments are dictatorships. However, they're pretty well run dictatorships, not like what you see in the movies. A lot of the Gulf states don't even have income taxes because they make so much money from oil, and they have hardly any crime. Vietnam. I was told Vietnam was awful for Westerners in certain regions, and yet it was my absolute favorite country to backpack through in my 20s. North, Central, South, Rural, City, all great. I am looking forward to visiting Hoi An again someday. Who the heck told you Vietnam is awful? I've been all over the world, met people everywhere. I've learned we are all the same. We want the most for our children and love our families, and most people want to be left alone. It's gov that sucks. Basically everywhere. I think it's far more complicated than that. Yes, everyone wants the same things at their core, safety and happiness, but people have wildly different opinions of how to get there and how a government should function to achieve those goals. And the kicker is the vast majority of those opinions are completely stupid, illogical, and rooted in ignorance. It all gets nearly impossible to untangle, considering there are probably infinite approaches that could get us 80% of the way there, and maybe 0 approaches that will get us the last 20%. Thailand. I just spent the last 2 months riding a motorcycle around Thailand. The only reason I bring it up is because people often jump to conclusions about travel there being primarily for sex tourism. I often get a second look from people when I tell them I was there for that long. Yeah, it's got that in certain areas of Thailand. It's also an absolutely beautiful country, reasonably affordable, with amazing beaches and beautiful culture and friendly people. There was not one moment there where I felt in any danger. I do feel a bit strange telling people I went to Thailand because of the reputation, but I had a great time, so I don't care what they think. Iran. Amazing people, culture and food, just a shitty government.